Hello, hello. Welcome to another edition of After the Whistle. As you can see, we aren't canceled after after the stuff that went on last week. We had a great time. Crazy Man Craig is back in here. We don't know what he's going to say.
What's going on? What's going on?
I don't know what he's going to say. I don't know what Todd's going to say, but anything that's said here is a disclaimer, is, whatever. So what's going on, fellas? It's midweek, new show, a lot going on. What's going on, people?
Things are good. We just had the draft, and it was really nice. A lot of crazy things happened, a lot of surprises, disappointments, and I think it's going to be a good season for football. So, and then, hockey, things are happening there. Cell phones are ringing.
Cell phones ringing.
My bad. I'm professional.
What you got going on?
And all that. You got that. Light-skinned dudes always got the phone going off.
Yeah, my bad, man. My week's been all right. I can't complain. My weekend was great. Congratulations to the Begon family. They had a nice wedding. My cousin signed with the Chiefs. Unfortunately, he didn't get drafted, but they gave him an opportunity, so he has to prove himself.
Shit, being signed is just as good as being drafted.
Exactly. I was happy for him. Enjoy the experience.
Not so happy things. Last night, Celtics-Bucks game was, that was a disaster. It was a disaster from around the 7 minutes of the third quarter on. It was just a disaster. I don't know what happened, but they just couldn't make a shot. They couldn't buy a bucket. They went 7 minutes and were just scoring 2 points in 7 minutes. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I noticed that. I seen your post about that. I'll be honest. I'm glad they took care of business because, they had to at least get one away.
Yeah. I
didn't really expect them to win this game. I didn't expect them to play that bad and shoot that bad, but they'll bounce back game 3, definitely.
It was crazy because they started off well. They started the game well, but I don't know what happened. They just went cold. They literally just went cold.
And the way I think the series is looking, I feel like who can not lose at home? Mm. So
I agree with that. The fact that they stole a home game is big. They lose this last home game, like you said, and they lose it towards the end of the game. I mean, we didn't expect them to win one home game. I thought it was going to go 7 because it was going to be 2-2, 1-1-1. Mm-hmm. And I'm impressed that they held on for as long as they did, and I think that they'll pull it together once they get home.
Yeah, it's just how they. It's like how they lost and how they won. The first game, they just dominated the game. This game, they started off dominating. But then, I just want to know when they're going to call a travel on Antetokounmpo.
I'm not going to lie, that little, not even fast break, but when he,
the 4-step Euro?
And jumped and, skipped, come on, you have to start calling these calls. And now the game's looking ridiculous now.
Yeah.
It took 5 steps.
I seen this from him during the season. There's no way one person can take one dribble from half court and get to the cup without traveling. I know he's long, he's got long strides, but there's no ways anybody with those type of strides could take one dribble from half court without traveling.
And one of the biggest problems, the NBA, their rules are different than any other league in the world. So, they give them that extra step.
Yeah.
So you got kids training for high school and college basketball doing that extra step, getting travels called on because they don't understand. The league plays a little differently than most of the world.
Yeah. But one thing about this game, we need to put an APB out on Jason Tatum because he scored 9 points in 2 games. It's 4 for 19. This guy, he's been a disaster.
I hope he didn't find his sophomore slump now because he really has impressed everybody for a year and a half. So hopefully he's not finding his slump now. He probably just had 2 bad games. He is young. It's only his second year. We do hold some of our successful, I want to say, young players to a higher standard than the rest of the league.
Yeah.
And we are kind of harsh critics being from Massachusetts.
Yeah. My thing is just, it's not that he scored 9 points. It's his lack of aggression. That's the problem. But they got a home game. Game 3 is Friday. I think number 36 is coming back. If not game 3, game 4. So when he comes back, this will be the first time in 3 years that the Celtics actually have a healthy roster, a full healthy roster in the playoffs.
In the playoffs,
because they haven't had one in 2 years. Granted, the previous years they had it, they weren't going to make it anywhere. But this year I think is their best chance. So we'll see what happens on Friday. And Toronto and Philly, this one is tied 1-1, and Toronto dominated game 1. Philly grinded out game 2. That was a tough one. Jimmy Butler, he came up big for them.
Yeah, tailor two teams, I feel like game 1 and game 2. Game 1, I don't see you really winning many games when JJ's your highest scorer with 17. It's playoff basketball. You got to get at least 20 and up. And game 2, I heard Lowry try to go between the legs.
Yes.
I didn't see the end of the game. I heard he tried to go.
Yes,
but he had a better out. He had a better game. But as your point guard, you got to make the smart play at the end of the game, especially in the playoffs. Like the last 4 minutes of the game in the playoffs is all about getting to the cup, getting to the free throw line, making open shots.
Yeah.
And I missed it. I got to see it after the show. I
saw it. He was like, I thought he was trying to do something, and it just
did it slip?
But no, he tried to do that.
Oh.
And this is when they were down at least two or 3 points too. Like 45 seconds or 50 seconds left in the game. It's like crunch time. Like, what are you doing?
Sometimes I feel like he's not that serious of a person. Lowry, and at that position, you kind of have to be like.
You're the coach, basically.
Yeah, so you kind of have to be a little intense, be a little more stern. You can't be goofy like the 3-man can. Like you gotta be the head coach on the court.
Yeah.
And for him to do that, maybe he just had a brain dead play like Brady does once every couple years.
And when you look at it, Embiid only had 12 points.
If he would have pulled it off, though, then it would have been a different conversation. Like, oh, I can't believe you pulled that off.
Yeah.
So it's also about whether or not you're going to be successful. You can't take a high risk like that in a game like that and not be successful.
Yeah, Chris Paul pulled it off. I think it was last night or game 1. Actually, he pulled it off. But
Chris Paul got crazy handles.
Yeah, he's the point guard.
Yeah,
so. But you look at this game. I mean, Embiid, he only had 12 points. Simmons only had 6 points. So your two best players aren't having such a great game, and Butler came up with 30 points. And as for the Raptors, Kawhi's kind of put them on their back. 45 in game 1, 35 in this one. I mean, Kyle Lowry, he had 20, but then he just had he did Kyle Lowry stuff towards the end. But I mean, this series, it's going 6 to 7 games.
I can see that. Like, depending on what role players play the best will determine who wins. Because if Siakam can keep putting up buckets, the Raptors might be able to, overcome Philly. But if Philly comes to play, I don't see them losing to Toronto.
Yeah, and role players don't play well on the road, so I don't see any of Toronto's role players doing actual work on the road. I mean, Fred VanVleet is considered their best player coming off the bench. Like,
he's solid, but he's not like a Spock off the bench. He's just kind of steady point guard with solid, but you need a Spock off the bench.
They need a lot of things off the bench, but that's the Raptors for you. All right, other games that we had going on here. There was a game 7. There was a game 7 between the Spurs and the Nuggets, and the Spurs, I don't know what they were thinking, but they were down 4 points with like 30 seconds left, and they didn't foul. They just let the time run out. Popovich is over there screaming them to foul, yelling to foul, and they just all stood there and just watched the Nuggets dribble the ball out.
It might have been ready for their victory. Might have been ready to go fishing.
Yeah, maybe they decided it was time. They were just like, listen, we ain't going any further than this. You know?
Like, because if you got, like, Pop, it's not that animated, but if he's yelling around screaming foul and guys just completely ignoring him, maybe they just kind of, they checked out. They might have just checked out the season.
And it was crazy because he was literally almost on the court screaming foul, foul. You got the guy at the top of the key, Marcus Aldridge, right there at the top of the key, he's screaming foul. And they're just not even paying attention. Even the assistant coaches were yelling foul. You could see it. It's one thing for you not to hear or see it, but when he's literally on the court yelling foul, and also you're a veteran, you got to be smart. I mean, you should know time and possession.
Maybe they're sick of believing in false hope. Like, oh, if we beat these guys, we got a chance to win the championship. No, you don't. You're going to lose second or conference finals. So they probably they didn't want to go through another grind out series like this one.
Yeah, they had their I guess they had their Cancun tickets already booked, their summer vacation tickets already booked. Cause it definitely looked like they didn't want to go. They didn't want to go any further. It's like, but
when you beat, you beat.
But you were down 4 points. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
4 points in basketball is not.
And 30 seconds is like 4 minutes at least.
Yeah, eternity. You got plenty of time to extend the game, make it longer. But for you just to ignore your coach and not even have the common sense to be like, maybe we should foul after we had this shot blocked, we should foul right away. But whew.
Yeah, we live in a world where people just don't care as much as they used to. Or people don't put the focus in like they should.
Yeah.
Because you kind of see.
Yeah, because I said at one point they were down at least 17 points, close to 20 in this game, and they fought their way back, and then you fought your way back just to. Yeah, just to.
Things we just don't understand.
Yeah, I definitely did not. I don't understand that one at all. Another one, another elimination. The Warriors eliminated the Clippers in 6. The Clippers were just holding off the inevitable, and then they had no answer for Kevin Durant. He dropped 50 on them, and there was nothing they could do about it. They tried double teaming him. They tried getting the ball out of his hands, and when they did, his teammates made plays. Iguodala was making plays, and Curry and Klay Thompson were gonna make plays. But Draymond Green, he looks like the guy from 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Offensively, he's looking a lot better than he was during the regular season.
Think he probably had to adjust. Sometimes it takes some players a couple years to adjust because before KD got there, they kind of relied on him a little more than they do now, and way more than they relied on Bonds. Yeah. So like when KD came, kind of took Bonds' shots and his shots. Yeah. So he's figuring this game out. But I'll be honest, the Clippers played the best series they could have played. They won 2 games.
Yeah.
like what else do you want?
That's kind of like a victory in itself. Because I think that's almost a loss for Golden State, man. Like the fact that you didn't beat them in 4 or 5 games. I mean, I can understand them winning 1, but getting them 2 wins. Who do they face next?
Right now they're playing Houston. We'll get into that. Well, we might as well just get into that.
Hold on, one more. Pay Lou Williams his money.
Somebody
pay that man some money. He only get paid $8 million.
Yeah, someone will pay him.
Come on, bro. He's better than some of y'all starters.
Yeah, somebody gonna pay him. Somebody gonna break the bank for him. Celtics might need to break the bank for him.
We could use
him. The bench. Well, speaking of Golden State and Houston. These are the 2 most complaining teams in the NBA right now. They complain to the referees all game long. And the Rockets were doing the most after game 1. All right. There were some fouls that they missed, but there were some fouls that weren't fouls. That, James Harden kicking his feet, Chris Paul throwing his body into people. Those were fouls. And then they go on a 2-day social media rant about last season they got screwed by the refs, so they wanted to audit the 2018 Western Conference Finals because they missed 81 calls. It was a whole article. They were just doing the most, and at some point you gotta be like, all right, shut up, just play.
We can't have this like sensitivity from regular people start leaking into like the sports world. Keep y'all softies over there. I had to watch my mouth. And let athletes be athletes. I'll be honest, one thing I didn't like about what was going on throughout the week, people were talking about the calls and all that, and they were focusing on the last call that they said they didn't call when James was obnoxiously trying to get the foul. Yeah. How about in the beginning of the game where the guy can't land?
Yeah.
He has personal space. He should be able to land, and the shooter's defenseless. So I get that, and I get it. Stop complaining about calls, just play the game. But in our reality, though, they wouldn't have had to do those obnoxious things if they would have just got a couple of those calls to begin with. That's my biggest thing. But stop complaining and just hoop, though.
And also, you got to realize in basketball, when you realize the refs aren't calling it, you just got to be like, you can't even get mad that they don't call it later on because, okay, they haven't been calling it pretty much the whole game, so.
You know what I do, though? I just kick you in the air. If you're not going to let me land, I'm going to throw my foot out and kick you. Simple as that, because my safety is way more important than your feelings at that point because I'm coming down.
Yeah.
The Rockets did too much complaining, but also the Warriors, because there were some plays that the Rockets did the exact same thing and they didn't call it for them, but they didn't go on this whole thing. They were just being crazy. And for James Harden to say he wants a fair chance, you've been leading the league in free throw attempts the past 5 years. You should be the last person to complain about getting free throws.
I definitely get that. But my thing is, though, it's all about safety. The NBA is always talking about safety of their players, safety. So let's just make sure they're safe.
Yeah.
Just make sure they're safe. And if you know you're missing, you got NBA guys talking about they're blatantly missing calls, and they called this game one of the worst referee games in a while. So it's like, let's clean things up.
Yeah.
Let's hold the referees also accountable, because since this replay stuff is involved, the guys have been slacking on their job.
I hate the replays. I hate the replays.
I don't like the fact that refs aren't held accountable. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I could be way off about this, but I always thought that refs should be fined for bad calls and no calls. Like, if it's your job to make these things happen, and if you're not making the proper calls, then I feel like you should be penalized in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. And this whole ref talk got us avoiding what actually happened on the game. And what happened is nobody can stop Kevin Durant right now, because this guy, he's been averaging like 40 points per game the past 5 games. And last night the Warriors had a balance. Every starter was in double digits. And even who they have come up, their bench didn't do that much. They just did enough. But the starters, you got Green 15, 12, and 7. Durant with 29 points, Curry with 20 points, Thompson 21, Iguodala with 16.
Wow.
You're not going to beat that team when all of those guys are on. I don't care how the Rockets are good, but they're not. If they're not going to beat the Warriors if all those guys are on.
I mean, we know the best overall team in the playoffs is the Warriors.
Yeah.
So if they're all clicking like that, it's gonna be a long night for anybody in front of them.
Yeah, and these guys, they've taken 87 threes.
And this is probably going to be the last chance we're going to have this Warriors, right? Can they really afford all these players another year? I don't know who's on contract for what, but I feel like people are going to maybe move on after this year. Maybe Kevin Durant goes somewhere else, try to make it happen.
I don't know why would you break up a good thing, but that's besides the point. But yeah, the Rockets, they need 40 threes last game, 47 threes for game 1, and I mean, Chris Paul, he got to do a little more. I mean, granted, he had 18 points, but I think he got to score around 25, 30 points per game if they actually want to make this series long. Because if he doesn't do that, then they don't have a chance.
I mean, Houston doesn't have many players that can create their own shots, so him and Harden have to go for 25 plus each game. Every game.
Eric Gordon, too, he's been playing really well, but every time Eric Gordon shoots, I just think of when KG called him a trash ass. You know that video? You ever see that video?
I don't think so.
When he was at the Pelicans, KG was on the Nets. No, KG was with the T-Wolves at the time. He was in street clothes, and Gordon shot it, and all you hear is KG, hell no! Try that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Google that on YouTube. It's the funniest thing in the world. So every time I see Eric Gordon with the ball in his shoes, I just keep thinking of that when KG called him trash.
I like Eric Gordon, man. He's like a machine sometimes, bro.
Yeah.
Like, he getting that ball in his pocket, and this is automatic. But I don't know, like something. I mean, it's kind of hard. I feel like it's hard to play with Harden because like he needs to get his shots up, but you can also contribute. But it's like, all right, I'm open, but he's open. Oh, do my job.
And also with Harden, he dribbles that thing. He dribbles 24 seconds. He dribbles at least a good 20 seconds of.
And it's hard to get ready for a pass. You do just dribbling. You're like, all right, bro, I'm about to run back on defense. Like,
yeah, and I don't get it too because beforehand, our Harden used to be efficient. He didn't dribble that much. Like he'll get everybody involved, and if it was time for him to do that, he'll do that. But I think when D'Antoni got there, he's been more ISO and dribbling the air out the ball.
And then he's been MVPs and stuff. So, but you know what it is. Once you're given a job in the NBA, you kind of get stuck in that mode.
Yeah.
And
we'll get to the NFL draft real quickly, but we got a couple more. Portland, Denver is tied 1-1. Denver, Nikola Jokic, he had a damn near triple-double game 1. What I'm most upset about this series is we won't get to see Nurkic and Jokic because those two guys, they pretty much do the same exact thing. They play the same style, and that would have been a good matchup. But this one, the guards are going to do their thing, but, it's the third person that's going to make a difference. And Jokic right now, they don't got nobody to cover him.
37, 9, and 6. And then Murray had 20, 23, and 8. Who else? Gary Harris played well, right?
Yep.
But it's like, for them to win still, and Portland have so many players playing well, like, I don't really know what you're going to do. You got to take care of Jokic.
Yeah, pretty much. Granted, it's a home. I think this one will be home court advantage each way because I think both teams are just going to be winning at home. But, yeah, Portland, game 2's tonight. But Portland, they don't have it. They have an answer for everything else. They just don't have an answer for Jokic. The answer for Jokic is hurt. So,
and in the NBA, you need a big to stop a big.
Yep.
And they're hard to stop 7 foot big, especially when they can shoot, pass, and dribble.
Yeah, definitely. All right, lastly, with our NBA stuff, Celtics all-time leading scorer, John Havlicek, he passed away last week.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Everybody remember Havlicek stole the ball. But he's like one of the few players to have over 26,000 points, 8,000 assists, 8,000 rebounds. I think LeBron and Magic are
Hondo was the man. Now, question though, growing up, we just say don't be a Hongo. Now, was it originally don't be a Hondo?
I don't know.
Because I was wondering where Hongo came from, and I figured it might have been Hondo just because, like, he's all-time leading scorer. He probably was known as a guy who didn't pass much.
Yeah, 8,000 assists.
I mean, I'm just saying, though, like, bro, he got more points than that, though, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you can get 8,000 assists, bro. Like, in the games you play, this, that, and the third. I'm just saying, like, where did Hongo come from? I figured it might have been Hondo.
We can Google it, but I'm going to say you're probably wrong about this one.
I'm just asking, though. I'm just asking.
Yeah,
I'm going to look it up.
and he also, he was drafted by the Cleveland Browns.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he was drafted by the Cleveland Browns as a
Really?
wide receiver. Yeah.
Wow.
They said he was one heck of an athlete. Like football, basketball.
I've never seen
baseball
football,
as well.
basketball. You always see football, baseball, but
Yeah.
not football, basketball.
Yeah, but yeah, he's and until this day, he's still the Celtics' all-time leading scorer. So I'm like, yeah, well, right. This is why the Celtics gonna win the championship. Whatever. All right, some quick NHL rundown. The Bruins last night they lost. They lost to Columbus. They lost 2-1. The series is now 2. Columbus 2, Bruins 1. I think Game 4 is tomorrow night or Friday night, I believe. But yeah, the Bruins they need to get their offense going. They only 1 goal. Come on, but come on. That was a tough day for Boston sports yesterday. The Red Sox, the team that's been losing, was the only team that won. So, well, the Bruins they get back in action, but yeah, they need a better output offensively in Game 4 because you're not going to win many games only scoring 1 goal unless you got a A1 defense. So, well, we'll see what happens there. And then Carolina versus the Hurricanes versus the New York Islanders. Carolina won Game 3, 2-1. Carolina's up 2-0 in this series. They got complete control of it. When you're down 2-0, it's kind of hard to come back.
Yeah.
And, the
It
Islanders,
is hard to come back.
Yeah, the Islanders, they're going to have to find a way to get 2 victories because you go down 3-0, the series.
It's demoralizing.
Yeah, definitely. Also, San Jose. The San Jose Sharks beat the Colorado Avalanche in Game 3, 4-2. San Jose leads the series 2-1. I don't know why San Jose is the only hockey team that I watch. I don't even know why.
Because it's just a cool-looking team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Like, I know some of the players on that team, too, like Thornton and all that. But,
Remember when they were the only team to have a girl goalie? She didn't last very long, but they were the first and only team to have a girl goalie.
oh, were they?
Yeah. Way back, in late 90s.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's
well,
dope.
Look at that. NHL making progress, doing a lot for diversity. But yeah, San Jose, they lead the Avalanche 2-1. So we'll see. They got Game 4 coming up. And then finally, St. Louis versus Dallas. The Blues are up 1 Game 3, 4-3. They are up 2-1 right now on Dallas. And yeah, that's our NHL update. I'm sorry. Brian usually was the NHL expert. We just give you a little bit of what we know. And we know a little bit.
A little splash.
Now on to more important things, the NFL. So, NFL, we're going the rest of the show, we're just talking NFL. First, we're going to talk Tyreek Hill. He's been barred from team activities from the Chiefs. We talked about it last week about him being his child. Then audio came out of him telling the girlfriend that he beat up when she was pregnant, told her that she needs to be afraid of him. There's audio on this. You can just go find the audio. It's online. But these are 2 people that should not be together. Him and his fiance. I believe it's his fiance or his wife.
Yeah, his fiance.
His fiance. These are just 2 people that should not be together because if you hear the audio, it was just.
First of all, it's audio.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be the mother of your child. Like, certain things, like, granted, they need to be separated, but certain stuff needs to be handled in-house. It's like, I don't know. Like, my thing is, if I'm not married, but me and my wife had an argument, I'm not going to record it and show it to the world You know what I mean? It's just certain, it's crazy. Like it seems like there's no real love in between them. It's more about benefiting each other money-wise, I feel like.
Yeah, he's like once an abuser, always an abuser.
Yeah, like,
I'm always on the fence with the situation that's gonna come from this. So he's banned from team activities, and then more than likely he's not gonna play this year. If he even gets to come back and play at all, he might be able to make some sort of restitution, go to anger management, and get his job back. But here's the thing. So I agree with that. Like, I have no problem with Tyreek Hill never playing football again. But if I work at Burger King and I tell my woman that she better be afraid of me, and they find out at my job that I smacked my kid and, smacked my woman, they might not like it, but I'm probably not gonna lose my job over it. Now, I'm also not in the public eye, so that's where I understand. But that's a tough situation,
Yeah.
You gotta be more careful.
You just can't be in this situation knowing that you're already on the short leash for what happened in college before you got into the league. So you shouldn't even be in that situation. And also the Chiefs, they've just dealt with something like this with getting rid of a player who kicked the chick.
Yeah,
Granted, there was more to that story than this one, but he still kicked the girl. He still kicked the female. And it just looked bad, and they just had to deal with that. Now they got to deal with this. So it's like,
I don't understand what's up with these football. You're a man. Forget a football player. You're a man at the end. Like to start with. Second of all, you're a high-level athlete. Like, what's the need? Why are you putting your hands on women? Yeah. Like, I just can't. I'll never be able to understand dudes who put hands on women. Yeah. But like, which is why I have no feelings towards him losing his job. If he does, oh well, man. You should. You gotta. It's not about just not being in the public eye. You should know better than to put your hands on a woman.
I'm in the school system, so I tell men about that all the time, about being men and about ladies being more ladylike and stop pushing men to that point, because we always get in trouble. So at some point, we all got to understand how to be better as people.
That's what I always say. Listen, even if you're not at fault, just don't put your hands on her. Even if you're provoked, don't put your hands on her.
Never gonna win.
You're not gonna win.
Never.
Because that hardly ever happens. Just don't put your hands on females. Sebastian Janikowski, the last player from the 2000. Well, one of the two last players. The last player from the 2000 draft is Brady. He still plays. Janikowski retired after 19 seasons.
That's dope.
I think he's the only tight end kicker to get picked in the first round, right? Was he picked in the first round or the second round?
I believe he. I want to say you might be right about that. I think you might be right about the first round pick. I don't know if he's the only one to ever get picked in the first round. That's the only one I could think of. But I will say, hell of a career to that man. I wish he would have stayed his whole career in Oakland. Like as a kicker, I would have liked the fact that he got to play his whole career there, and he had an incredible career in that team.
Yeah, he definitely did, and he said he's now just going to be a taxi driver and drive his daughters to school. That's his career.
He's probably one of the coolest kickers I've heard. The stories I heard about that man, and he was the size of like a tight end.
Man.
Like, what are you doing kicking the ball?
Like you might be like if he kicks the ball off and you make it to him, you might be worried that he's gonna lay you out.
Yeah. Florida State too. Florida State guy. So he played in that national title against. Was it Vic? With Virginia Tech, Virginia Tech and Florida State.
I'm not sure if it was Vic, but I know Peter Warrick, I think, was on that team.
Yeah, Peter Warrick was on that team.
I have no idea.
Oh man, that was probably one of.
was nasty.
It was one of the most hyped national title games because you had Peter Warrick and then there was Michael Vick.
It might have been Vic there. Yeah,
it was crazy, but yeah, shouts out to him. Hell of a career. Had a chance to win a Super Bowl, but it didn't go as the way they wanted, but we won't talk about that. But what we'll talk about is the Cardinals trading Josh Rosen, and I think this was a good move for the Miami Dolphins.
I think it was a good move for all parties involved. Yeah. I think that the Cardinals needed to get rid of him. You can't have a second-year quarterback and a rookie quarterback on the same team. There's going to be the competition is going to create too much animosity between these two guys. Miami, they can use a nice young quarterback to train up. Yeah. But Rosen needed a team to go to, and Miami, they love to hold on to quarterbacks. Look at how long Tannehill got to keep his job. I think they're going to give Josh Rosen every opportunity to develop into their franchise quarterback, and it's a possibility.
Yeah, and he's young too, because you got Ryan Fitzpatrick. Because we already know what Ryan Fitzpatrick is. He could throw 5 touchdowns one game. He could throw 10 picks the next game. So we know what he is, man. he got a chance to compete and actually get the starting job. So this is good for him. But the talent around that team, I mean, Devontae Parker, Kenny Stills, they're still there. They don't really.
It's not a high-level talent, but there's also now he's going to a team with low expectations. Yeah. So I think that it's a win-win. Plus, you know, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he can hurl the ball down and either throw touchdowns or interceptions, but he's a gritty playing quarterback. I think that Josh Rosen kind of has that journeyman stigma on him. I think he's going to become a journeyman type player, and what better journeyman to learn from than Ryan Fitzpatrick, the king of journeyman quarterbacks. So I like it.
And when you say low expectations too, he hasn't to like look behind his back or look over his shoulder like this year when he kind of knew that he might be leaving. Yeah. So now, and you got people saying, "Oh, it's our quarterback. We gonna keep him," and he's like, "Man, that's BS. I know you trying to ship me out." So now he's with Miami. He's probably comfortable.
Yeah. And new coach. So this is good for the coach too, because now he don't, you know. Because if he had to deal with Fitzpatrick and then
it's a new coach, you know, it's Gase from
Flores. Flores.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Flores,
Gates is with the Jets now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it's just easy to play when you know like that your job is kind of secure, at least for that year or two.
Yeah, the coach he got a little security now too. He got a couple more, at least 3 years now. Yeah. Because if he would have had no quarterback in his first 2 years, we would have been like, after the second year, he'd be on the hot seat. But that's good for him. I like that. Good move for the Dolphins, but y'all still gonna lose to the Patriots. So I mean,
it is what it is.
Enjoy playing for second place in the AFC East. All right, NFL draft. We all saw this coming. We all saw Kyler Murray being the #1 overall pick. Mm-hmm. I mean, kudos to the Cardinals for picking him, and Cliff Kingsbury. He's got his quarterback, so he also secured his little job for a couple more years, because if he didn't draft him.
That's if they develop Kyler Murray correctly. Yeah. You know, just because you drafted a #1 quarterback, Baker Mayfield was #1. So. And this is a little dude. He doesn't get. I think he only had 5 batted down passes in his whole career. I found out the other day that he only ever lost 2 games, or 1 or 2 games in his entire football career, like high school, college. High school and college. I think he's lost 1 or 2 games. 1 or 2 games. I don't remember.
Well, damn.
So I mean, you do have a talented quarterback, but if you don't, who's he throwing the ball to?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you got Larry Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk, and I do like the fact that they got Hakeem Butler, nice rookie quarterback, to go with a rookie wide receiver. We'll see what happens, but you got to make it happen in order to secure that job.
David Johnson is going to have a lot of work to do. He's going to be carrying the load for the first couple months of the season, till Murray gets acclimated to the pro game, and also David Johnson just needs to stay hurt. I mean, stay healthy. I mean, not hurt. Not hurt. My bad, David Johnson.
We don't want to hurt David Johnson.
We don't want you hurt.
Yes.
He needs to stay healthy, because when you have a running back that can take the load off a rookie quarterback, that's the biggest thing.
But they also have to utilize David Johnson, right? Because that was the problem last year as well. Is David Johnson can do it all. He can catch and he can run, and they will only run the ball. He's the best receiver they have on that team. Yeah. David Johnson.
And he got Larry Fitzgerald too.
Yeah.
So you got Larry Fitzgerald, secure. You could always, when you're in trouble, just throw him the ball.
Yeah.
So good pickup for the Cardinals. Now, one thing we were all shocked at, we all opened our eyes like, what? A lot of people opened their eyes with the drafting of Daniel Jones, the Giants.
Terrible. It was terrible. It's not a terrible pick to get Daniel Jones as your quarterback. It's a terrible pick to draft Daniel Jones at #6 overall. Like I said, we talked about it on my show on the End Zone, is that you could have got Daniel Jones with your second pick, and you could have got a high-level defenseman. You could have got a high-level offensive lineman, Jonah Williams. You know, the problem with Eli Manning last year, one of the biggest problems was he's getting sacked, and you don't use your #1 pick to get either a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman to protect your quarterback. Didn't make a whole lot of sense. I think that the Giants get a big fail.
And then when you hear about how they went about getting the pick, talking about the Mannings and he's training with this coach and they influence the Mannings and all this nonsense. It's like, why don't you just do what the organization does and just pick the best pick that you have? Who cares about who he trains with and who are the Mannings in all reality? They don't have any front office jobs. Last time I checked, one's retired, two retired, and one's still playing, holding on for
dear life.
You know what I mean? And I seen a meme about Daniel Jones. It was like he looks like what Eli Manning would look like if he played in a movie about Peyton Manning. So that just shows how much they respect the pick
man
itself. But like, I hope he does well. I'm wondering, like, at some point, when are they ever gonna pick a guy of color for the Giants? Because they had one they could have picked.
The only time they've had an African American starting was Geno Smith, and that was that weird deal they had.
But then my whole thing is though, it's like, I know you could have picked other picks than Haskins, but Haskins was like they said was the best overall quarterback other than Kyler Murray in the draft. Why don't you take a chance on a legit player? Don't take a chance on a guy you don't really know that much about.
And I think Drew Lock is better than Daniel Jones. So, like, I still even think you picked the third best quarterback in the draft. And at the end of the day, let's just say, argument's sake, Daniel Jones ends up being the best rookie quarterback this year. Like, the best quarterback in the draft ends up being Daniel Jones. Your pick was still wrong because you could have got him later. Nobody was going to take Daniel Jones before your second pick.
That was the thing. Gettleman went up there. He said he knows for sure that two teams were going to trade up to get him. No. Nobody was going to trade up to get Daniel Jones.
Nope.
Nobody was even going to get an offensive player after that because Haskins got picked, and I think another, like, two more offensive skilled position players got picked. So it was like you could have got him later. You could have gotten Ed Oliver.
Yeah.
You could have got Montez Sweet.
That would have been Ed Oliver would have been a big pickup for them.
He slipped, right?
Yeah, he went down.
They could have even got Devin Bush.
Yeah.
They had plenty to choose from. They could have got Josh Allen, and there was plenty of players better than this guy. So they get him. And if you look at his college stats when he went against teams with NFL players, it wasn't good.
They broke it down.
It wasn't good.
Yeah, it was a terrible pick altogether. Whether or not they're gonna live to regret their decision is to be seen. But they definitely wasted a pick, and they had a pretty dud draft altogether.
Yeah.
So,
but we look at Oliver. He slipped to number 9. To the Buffalo Bills. I know he's gonna be mad going up to Buffalo from Houston.
We were talking about that earlier. Going from that hot weather to the cold weather, how is it gonna affect his game? I'm not that surprised at Oliver falling to number 9. Yeah, I think he was expected to go sooner, but I'm not that surprised. I mean, this was a pretty surprising draft to begin with, so I'm not really too surprised of how far he fell, and I do like the Bills going after a high-level defensive tackle.
But the Bills also got Jerry Hughes on that roster, so now that's actually two good defensive players.
Yeah.
That maybe the Bills' defense showed signs of being good last season.
Yeah.
It was just their offense was so inept and horrible. The defense was on the field too much. So maybe.
And they also have to look at the fact that they play Brady twice a year. And how do you beat Brady? By being disruptive. If you get in Brady's face and you knock him down, he does tend to get frustrated. So if you build up that defensive line, you could be looking at some victories against Brady that you might not have had previously.
And they got Cody Ford in the second round.
Yeah.
The Bills too. And I heard Ed Oliver was like the perfect fit for that Bills defense.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. The way they play defense, because he's athletic. You could actually have him stand up as an outside linebacker too, or have him rush as a DN. That was a good pickup by the Bills. But we'll see, because we've seen this a lot with these bad teams that are historically bad. They'll draft great players, and the player development process is not all that great, and they just waste talent.
Nothing is more important than player development.
Yeah. This is very true. This is very true. Also, the New York Jets, I like their pickup. Quinnen Williams.
I love their pickup.
Because now they have Quinnen Williams, and then who's the?
I know who you're talking about.
The defensive tackle from USC.
I can't think of his name.
I can't think of his name, but Leonard Williams, is that his name?
Yes, Leonard Williams.
Yeah, Leonard Williams.
Leonard Williams with Quinnen Williams is going to be dangerous.
That is a good pickup for them. Now they're not going to have any issues rushing the passer with their front four. They might not even need to bring a blitz the way they got their defense set up. Granted, their defense was already good last year, but once again, their offense kept them on the field too long. So I think, and I don't know how good their offense is going to be this year because I don't trust their coach, Adam Gase. I don't trust
I don't know if I trust the coach, but they have put together a squad that, you got Le'Veon Bell running the ball, and then, they do have decent wide receivers. They don't have big name wide receivers, but their wide receivers are good, and they just picked up, and I don't know why I can't think, they just got Jamison Crowder in the offseason. So they've definitely built up this offense to play at a high level. And now you add Quinnen Williams, who, in my opinion, could have gone #1 overall. And number 3 isn't a far place to drop to, but now you've stepped the defense up that was already good and have made it better. The Jets, I think, are going to give us a lot of competition this year.
They also got Ty Montgomery too. He had some issues at Green Bay, and then they shipped him out of town, but now they got him too. So they put together some pieces offensively that can make them competitive. But once again, it's all about the NFL. It's a lot. Coaching is a big part of the NFL.
Big part of it.
And so I don't know about their coaching
and it's not just head coaching either. You got to have the right coaches in each. A good offensive line coach, defensive line coach, your linebacker coaches. Like you can have one. Like look at the Patriots. The offensive line played so well because we brought back our old offensive line coach, and he developed that offensive line into a monster wall.
And have them coaches travel out to the league and have head coaching job, or at least get head coaching experience. And if they don't like it, or they get fired, they come right back to us.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Now, the team from Washington, they drafted Dwayne Haskins. They needed a franchise quarterback. Alex Smith, we are not sure if he's ever going to play again. But Alex Smith, he was just a solid quarterback to have. If you want to be competitive, have a chance at the playoffs, but having Dwayne Haskins, a young quarterback, a very talented quarterback, that's what that franchise needed.
Yeah, getting Dwayne Haskins, it was like a ski mask robbery, man. They came in, hands up, we want Haskins. So for the Washington Redskins, this is a huge victory to get this quarterback. My problem is it might be not a victory for Dwayne Haskins, because who's he throwing the ball to? You got Jordan Reed and then Josh Doctson.
Paul Richardson,
yeah. You don't really have, so if they need to bring in some talent. In my personal opinion, I think they just need to jump the gun, go ahead and grab Michael Crabtree, give them a nice veteran talent, and then maybe roll the dice. You roll the dice on AP, roll the dice on Des Bryant. Give yourself this veteran, stacked up wide receiver core. Give Dwayne Haskins some guys who know how to go after the ball, so that way his first season, it might not be a playoff season, but it will be a winning season.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking at their roster right now. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 running backs on the roster right now.
And they're going to get Darius Geis back, right?
Yeah,
they got
Geis
he should return this year. That's really going to help out Dwayne Haskins, though, because Geis is going to have to put the team on his back.
Adrian Peterson's still there. I don't know if he'll be on the roster.
I think, no, they re-signed him. I think he's going to play. I think they're going to go running back by committee.
Okay, so it looks like they're gonna be a smashing team. So.
It's gonna be a good team, but they need wide receiver help right away.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. Let's talk about the Patriots and the drafting of N'Keal Harry. They needed, because we have no receivers. There's no receivers on this roster right now. So the Patriots, they definitely needed him.
We were talking about him last week, actually.
It's a V for victory. I actually picked the Patriots drafting N'Keal Harry in the first round. This was a phenomenal move. N'Keal Harry, he got them Odell Beckham hands, man. When he grabs the ball, that's it. It's like a Venus flytrap. It's in there. I really like this. I think he's gonna give us what we wanted out of Josh Gordon. And the fact that there's a high, we don't know if Josh Gordon's gonna play this year. It's probably unlikely. But whenever he does come back and play for us, N'Keal Harry, Josh Gordon, that's trouble. But I think Brady and N'Keal Harry are gonna have some serious fun this year. I think N'Keal Harry's gonna be he's going to be the first, maybe not the first, but one of the first wide receivers getting drafted in the first round that have first round quality performance throughout the season. I think he's going to do big things.
I just heard. I mean, I didn't get to watch the draft. I was busy all weekend. But overall, I just heard it was a great draft for the Pats, and AFC are in trouble.
Yeah, they also picked up Demarius Harris.
It's like 3 other dudes.
The running back, right?
No. I said the wrong name. Demarius Thomas. I said.
Yeah, Demarius Thomas.
Demarius Thomas.
And that's a hit or miss play right there.
Yeah.
It's hit or miss. If he's healthy, that's gonna be great, and him helping N'Keal Harry develop. That's gonna be. I forgot about Demarius Thomas.
The only problem with Demarius Thomas is the drops. He's had a case of the drops the past couple of years, and then I think he messed up both Achilles.
Oh, he's hurting.
I think he's hurt both of them in his career. I think he's coming off. I thought that was Jesus for a second.
Yo, I thought there was a critter up in here. Like, what? What's going on?
I thought that was a mouse. I was about to jump on this table.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, Demarius Thomas, he's coming off an Achilles injury from last season. But yeah, that's a good position pickup for the Patriots. And they had an overall good draft. The Patriots usually have good drafts, and one of these players they picked in the later rounds, I think is going to pan out to be a decent contributor to this team, because that's usually what happens.
They got a huge steal with the defensive lineman that they drafted. They did get offensive line help, and they drafted the cornerback in the second round, at the end of the second round. That was a huge pickup for us as well.
Ken Webster?
Yeah, Ken Webster. I mean, that's a they got a victory in this draft, man.
Yeah, usually sometimes with Patriots draft picks, we all usually raise the eyes, the rocks people's eyebrows, because they're like, what? Who? But this was a good one. Yeah. All right, let me see as we go down. Some players slipped in this draft. DK Metcalf. The Seahawks picked up this was a great pickup for the Seahawks.
Yes.
Especially giving Russell Wilson that contract.
Mm-hmm.
This was a great pickup for them.
It was absolutely a great pickup for the Seahawks to get him so late. But here's the thing. The only reason why it's a surprise that DK Metcalf slipped so far is because the hype around him. Yeah. And why was he hyped up? Because he's all big and he's jacked. He's the best player. He's the best wide receiver at Ole Miss. But he's a 3-trick pony. He can't cut. He doesn't have his cuts. Yeah. He's just fast down the field, and he's a big guy who can fight for the ball. He is not going to be a slouch. He's not going to be a slouch, but he's a one-trick pony. He's going down the field, and he's going up for the ball, which is good for Russell Wilson. That's going to give him time to make a play. But I'm not necessarily surprised from a football standpoint. I'm just surprised just because of how much hype was around his name.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought he might go. I knew it because. Let's be honest, in the NFL the past few years, the receivers don't even get picked in the first round. Mm-hmm. You have to be like out of this world talented or skilled.
And when they do, they don't succeed.
Yeah. So I think him going in the second round was a big thing. Especially him going to Seattle, because Seattle's offense, they run this weird offense, but the receivers are always productive when they get it. So this was, I think he's going to do big things with the Seahawks.
It's definitely what they needed.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Will Grier. This was a great pickup for the Panthers because of all the uncertainty with Cam. I see I think Cam's about to have his wife's expecting baby number 5, so I think he
got 4?
He got 4 already? What?
He's trying
to create an army up in here?
He's trying to catch Phillip Rivers.
I didn't even know he had any.
Yeah, he's trying to catch. I'm telling you, he's trying to catch Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers got damn near NBA starting 5 and a bench.
Yeah,
wow.
But yeah, for Cam, the uncertainty with his shoulder. So Will Grier, he's got a lot of talent. I think he's going to be. He may be the future for the Panthers, depending how things go with Cam. But you need a quarterback or a backup. Yep. You need some type of plan. It looks like the Panthers are creating a plan.
I think it was a smart pickup, 100%, because Will Grier is exceptionally accurate. He has good timing. I think he might even be better than the likes of Drew Lock and Daniel Jones. I won't say that for certain, but he has high-level talent, quarterback qualities. I think he does have a career as a backup quarterback. I don't know if he'll necessarily get the starting position, but if Cam can't play right away this year, it will give him an opportunity to showcase his talent, maybe get himself traded to a team later on that is looking for a starting quarterback and that he might not have gotten previously. So I love this pickup for both the team and the player.
Yeah, I mean, I do too, just because, Mook all year complaining about Cam getting smacked around. You need somebody that can relieve some pressure, or if Cam gets injured and can't play, can still produce when he gets in there and might get you a couple wins.
Yeah.
It might be able to push your team to the playoffs.
Yeah. Always good to have a backup. So good job, Panthers. And then lastly, Greedy Williams, the Browns picked him up.
Second round.
This was a steal because they just got Denzel Ward last year, and now they got him. And I think Greedy Williams might be ready to play right away. So they got two young defensive quarterbacks that, that could be that team that just plays man all year.
You can't go wrong with a player from LSU. There's good and bad to Greedy. It was exceptional that they got him in the second round because I had him going in the first. I was surprised when he didn't, but at the end of the day, Greedy don't like to tackle. You know what I'm saying? He ain't greedy with the tackles. He's gonna give those up real quick.
He from that Deion Sanders school.
Yeah, man. He does not like to tackle. He's a great cover guy, and he could end up being, he could probably be an island where no one's gonna get the ball, but he doesn't like to tackle. So if they can't.
Look at him. Would you want to tackle? He's like a stick.
Yeah, he is like a stick. But if they don't make him a tackler, someone gets that ball near him, they're going to the house.
Well, he could pretend. He could grab somebody's jersey and wait for the envoy to come.
Yeah. He'll hold them off for a little bit, delay the inevitable.
Yeah, he could be one of those type of players. But I don't blame him for not wanting.
It's a big steal. It's definitely a big steal for Cleveland. They get Odell Beckham with a first-round pick, and then they still get a first-round pick in the second round. That's victory.
The Browns got a lot of talent.
Yep. Dangerous.
I hope the Browns are at least all right this year because, I've been talking good about them.
Browns going to the playoffs easy.
Well, I didn't want to say that. But, I didn't want to say that yet, but I think they're going to be all right this year.
People are going to take them seriously.
If the Browns aren't in contention for the Super Bowl, it's a failure for a season.
If they don't even sniff the playoffs if they don't make the playoffs, that coach is going bye-bye.
Oh, absolutely.
I like Baker, personally. I like Baker.
I
like his confidence. I like when he brings to the table, when he's out there. So
he grew on me last season. This past season.
In both aspects.
I don't like nobody from Oklahoma, so I can't root for nobody from Oklahoma. We got draft winners and losers. Who we got for draft winners and losers? I got the Broncos as winners.
Yep, they won actually because they got Dalton Reisner round 2, Andrew Luck,
and they got the tight end Noah Fant.
Yeah, Noah Fant.
All right.
I had them on my list of winners, especially because they got Noah Fant, Andrew Luck in the second round. The biggest winners of the draft is got to be the Washington Redskins, getting Dwayne Haskins and then getting Montez Sweat at the end of the first round. They trade up and they get Montez Sweat. That, like I said, it's ski mask style all day. They came in and they robbed the draft blind. We all know that the Patriots basically won this draft. They drafted high-level talent and they got it all throughout the draft. And Arizona, I think Arizona, they got Hakeem Butler, they got their quarterback, and I think they got a nice linebacker. I don't know if it was Bradbury or not, but I know they drafted a linebacker in the second round. I think that Arizona did really well.
Yeah, I agree with you with that. I think the Indianapolis Colts, they did very well because they drafted
Paris Campbell.
Yeah, they got an outside linebacker.
Yep.
They need some defense for that team because that team was little, and then they got a guy, Rock Ya-Sin.
Rock Ya-Sin.
They got him. So they really focused on defense in this draft, and I think it was pretty good because they got the offense is there. They just need to get younger on defense, and their defense wasn't bad last year.
No.
So I think they definitely were winners.
Yeah.
The New York Football Giants are losers.
Absolutely.
They are losers.
I mean, that's it right there. I don't think anybody really lost it much more than they did. They totally blew their entire draft.
I mean, the Raiders didn't have the best draft, but
the Raiders went full Clemson.
The Raiders sneakily kind of won this draft too. They got Josh Jacobs, and if you don't know, you guys might not know, it's breaking news. But Isaiah Crowell tore his Achilles. He's out for the season. Josh Jacobs steps right into that number one role. They just re-signed back Doug Martin. And with the draft that they had, Raiders are winning right now too, man. I like what the Raiders did in the draft.
We're going to have to see how it pans out.
We'll see, man.
We didn't even talk about the 49ers, and they got Nick Bosa at number 2.
Nick Bosa. I mean, I like Nick Bosa, the player. I don't know if I like Nick Bosa, the person. I don't get into the politics, but.
Me and Todd already talked. We talked about this.
We talked about it already?
No, not about his politics. We talked about him and his brother. They're two ugly dudes. They're like, we're gonna have like, I think next episode we're gonna have all NBA and all NFL all ugly team.
Like Hall of Fame or current?
Just current. We're gonna have an all ugly team. Because right now the Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks, I think they're leading candidate.
They're an ugly team.
For an all ugly team, man. You look at that team, you're like, woo. Ooh, man. There's some mugs on that team.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, that's the NFL draft for you. You know, it was a great one.
It was a really good draft, man. I enjoyed it. There was a lot of surprises, a lot of picks I didn't expect. I was happy that the Giants blew it because, you know, it's the Giants.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about how well our division did. Our division did really well when it came to draft time. Everybody did their thing. So, but in all, it was a high quality draft this season.
Oh, the Steelers. I
Yes.
forgot. The Steelers, they did well with with their picks, especially picking up Devin Bush.
Yeah, Devin Bush was a remarkable pickup. I like what they paid. I don't like what the Broncos gave up. You know what I'm saying? Like, Broncos could have gotten Devin Bush.
There's always a sucker.
Yeah. I think the Broncos played themselves. Because if it was worth giving up what they gave up to get Devin Bush, then why are you not taking Devin Bush? So.
Makes sense.
Because John Elway got like the biggest leeway ever for winning those 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
He gets a pass for anything. He's been getting a pass for a lot of things that he's been doing out there. Even that they're all bad. I mean, he said Joe Flacco's still in his prime.
Yeah, he's tripping.
I don't hate the Joe Flacco pickup.
I don't. But to think that he's in his prime, you got to be smoking some stuff.
Yeah, you are smoking stuff if you think he's in his prime.
Yeah, and then he thinks the quarter, Drew Lock, and he said it's going to be like an Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre thing with him and Joe Flacco.
Elway, the white Jay-Z.
Yeah. Like, come on now.
He does look like white Jay-Z.
No, that's Aikman. That's Troy Aikman.
Oh, is it Aikman?
That's
I messed it up. I messed up the joke.
That's Troy. All right, we gotta get up out of here. Nothing crazy happened. So we'll see you guys when we see you guys. You know, Craig will be dropping in here and there.
Check out my show, The End Zone.
Yeah, and we're gonna have another show coming up called Real Talk. We talk about some stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got.